Hey, beautiful mama. Welcome to the Radiant Mom Rising podcast, where we believe you were never meant to just survive. You were born to shine. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, life coach, mama three, and your biggest cheerleader in creating a life and business you love. Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, motherhood, healing, and purpose, helping you break free from overwhelm, rediscover your worth, and rise into the confident, radiant woman you were meant to be. Because when moms rise, the world rises with us. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get ready to rise together. Hey, welcome back. I'm here with Safia today. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited. Let's get started. If you will, just introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I am Safi Satar. I'm kind of all of the things, but I'm a business marketing and sales coach. I work predominantly with female founding businesses online or brick and mortar. My specialty really is in helping you start, grow, and scale your businesses in a way that does not require you to be in it 24/7. I know that simply because I'm a mom of three. I started this business actually about 11 years ago when my second was just a little baby. And I've had my definite periods of the business consuming my life or feeling like I'm pulling between one of the two. And over the years, I've had to develop systems and develop methods and develop ways to really streamline my business in a way that I can continue to grow it and make it profitable, but also peaceful. So I don't feel like I'm torn between the two. And so through my own like processes, systems, things that I've developed that have helped me to really scale my business to multi six figures and beyond, it's pretty much the same tools and coaching and support that I offer moms that are in that same situation that know that they want to grow or start a business, but they feel like, how do I do it without it costing me my personal life or my family?
Yes, and that's why you're perfect for this because that's exactly what I love to do and I love to share about to help moms because we tend to put our dreams and ourselves on the back burner all the time because we
Yeah.
we feel that guilt of even thinking that we can do that because it does take work. It does. It takes sacrifice to a point, but there's like I said, I love hearing stories like this because within the challenges there's still possibility and there's still ways that we can sustain this and make it work for everybody.
A
Um,
thousand percent.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your personal journey. I mean, especially with you, because you're like me. I started mine too when I actually had my third child, and he was a baby, and then I had a toddler at home, and then I had one
Mhm.
in high school. So it was like a lot, and a lot of people thought I was probably crazy to start, but I'm so grateful that I did because
Yeah.
yeah, it was hard in the beginning. I mean, it still has its challenges, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be where I'm at today without those getting through that motion. So share a little bit about what it was like for you when you got
Yeah.
started.
So I grew up in businesses. I've always had a business of some sort. I got married super young and I moved to New York. And then I got pregnant with my first super unexpectedly.
Right.
And so he came very quickly after we got married and I moved here and I knew they always say, do you believe in love at first sight? I didn't believe in love at first sight until I met my baby for the first time. They put him in my arms and I literally was like, so I knew that I couldn't go back to the corporate grind. I knew that I didn't care how amazing the view of men was and how cute my outfits were and how great, the paycheck was. I knew that for me personally, my personal decision was I wanted to be a present mom to be able to raise him. Like I knew that I didn't want to be in a situation where someone called me and was like, "Oh, he took his first steps, or he said his first words, or he threw up, or whatever." Like I wanted to be the person to experience that. And nothing is wrong if you choose not to. Like I'm not here to like make that wrong. It's just that was a personal choice of mine. And so I dedicated like my first year to just being full-time present mom with him. And then very quickly I realized there's more to me than just dishes and diapers. And so
Oh, wow.
that's when I went on my journey. I started my first business. And then when I had the second, I started this business that I'm in right now. And, you mentioned earlier, like I remember having to do Zoom calls with my clients and turn my camera off to nurse my babies. all of my clients know the sounds of my kids' voices because they would hear them. Right. And so then I had a third. And that's when I had her, my third, that's when like the business really started to, I moved from sort of being offline and doing in-person events to bringing the business online. And when you bring the business online and you're social media marketing and you're doing all that stuff, it's a whole different beast. And so realizing that in order for me to grow this to where I wanted to grow it, what was happening was I had found myself where I was, making money, I was getting clients, but then I always felt like, shoot, I'm neglecting something at home. Or if I'm at home, I wouldn't be fully present because I'm thinking about something I need to be doing in the business. And I spent quite a few years feeling this conflict. And I do feel like that is what prevented me from growing faster in my business because I always felt torn. So obviously it was a combination of my own personal like mindset work and seeking support and seeking coaching on my own to kind of work through some of those things. But for me, there was like two layers. I'll give you like the very spiritual layer, and then I'll give you the tactical strategic layer.
Ooh, yeah.
The first part was just coming to the acceptance that my values do not conflict. My values actually complement each other. I want independence. I want financial freedom. I want to be someone who, has like be an entrepreneur. And this is a dream for myself. This is something that I want. And at the same time, I also want to have a healthy, happy family that I can be present with. Those are two very real values. And one does not have to come at the cost of the other. And for years, I felt like they were conflicting because it would take one to make the other, vice versa, right? And then it wasn't until I worked through that myself and realizing that these aren't conflicting values, these are complementary values, and I get to have both. And letting go of the guilt and the shame and the making myself wrong and all of that stuff, working through that then allowed me to put the strategic level into place. And so what I quickly realized is that my business model needed to change, right? Like working with clients one on one was great. I had group coaching programs and all that stuff. But the most important thing was I needed to put systems in place. I needed to put like really strategic marketing systems in place. I needed to get the right support around me to enable me to do the things that I want to do so that I can be fully present both for my business and my kids. And so about, I want to say like 6 to 7 years ago, I started really investing in automated funnels, investing in ads, investing in things that still help my business to run in the background,
Yes.
even when I was offline. Because I think far too many women think that we need to be posting on social media all the time. We need to be constantly creating content. We need to always be on so that we can be visible so people can see us and then therefore grow our businesses or grow whatever. And that's a mindset that can be a trap, right? So I quickly realized that what I needed to do was have my business running in the background
Yeah.
so that I don't have to be running all the time.
Yeah.
And that was like the biggest transition for me. And after that, once I put the things in place, it was really just about testing and tweaking what's working, what's not working, optimizing and scaling.
Yeah.
And it's truly what has allowed me to grow exponentially while still being able to have a full life offline.
Mhm. Yes, that's amazing. And that's exactly what I help to help moms with because that's the thing that I've learned along the way as well
Yeah.
is so, you hear the word thrown around a lot about balance, but I feel like it's more of just being intentional with our time and with what's important. There's so many times that I feel like I felt pulled to like invest in certain programs and things that I just wasn't ready for. And I
Mhm,
think that it's
mhm.
important to really like be open to being real with where you're at and what's the most important, what's really going to move the needle for you
Yeah,
with what you're
yeah,
trying to create. And so
sure.
that's why, like with me, actually, it's something I'm working on right now that I will be relaunching next year is a new program, a new offer for moms because I feel like that's the missing piece right there. It's like there's always this like method or specific framework or things like that. And don't get me wrong, a lot of those do work, absolutely. But I just want to create a container where
Yeah,
we can just come together and have consistent coaching, support, guidance, accountability
yeah,
so we actually follow through on our goals because how many of us talk ourselves out of it? We have all these things that we say we want to
Yeah.
do, but then if
Mhm.
you try to do it all by yourself, we talk ourselves out of it. We get too busy. Life happens. And so
Correct.
I feel like that's such an important part of the piece that like with what you're offering, what we're offering here is to really help moms to step into their full potential, because it's not
Absolutely.
just about the business strategy. It's about you as an individual. Like
Correct.
we have to work on who we are becoming so that we can sustain that, so we can carry that. And yeah, I think the mindset work is such a beautiful piece that a lot of people can be intimidated by, because it's not easy. Like looking at yourself truly in the mirror
Yeah. I-
and being
Well,
called out.
willing to look at all of those shadows too,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
be willing to be like, you know what? This served me up until this point. It's no longer serving me. How do I reprogram that? And change is hard. If we're used to functioning a certain way, or if we've been programmed or trained or conditioned to function a certain way for survival, for just making ends meet, for just getting through the day, through whatever, insert whatever the scenario is, that's the belief system that continues to, you bring that with you in all the other
Oh, yeah.
scenarios. And it's only until you're willing to stop and really look at, is this really serving me? Is this going to get me to where I want to be? And then there's that layer, because awareness is the first step, but then the second step is like the willingness to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right? Because the fear of this is safe, this has gotten me by so far, that fear is very real. And that's the fear that prevents so many people from breaking through to that next level.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, and trust me, I get it. I've been there most of my life. So I
Yeah.
get it. And so I'm only just like recently been out being able to shift that and change it because of this work. And it's why I'm so
Mhm.
passionate about sharing it and having these conversations, because it is so real.
Yeah.
And we beat ourselves up about it. We hold ourselves back from who we're meant to be and what we're meant to do and how we're meant to serve. And I think I see also this movement of so many ready to take that action. So I'm like, hey, if you really are ready, come do it. Like here, don't do it alone. Like I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for the people that I've invested in, the coaches, the support, the
Yeah.
community. All of that has kept me going on so many times that I was just like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this is too much.
Mhm.
Maybe, because those thoughts always haunting us of like,
Mhm.
no one's signing up for this, or I'm doing all this work and it seems like nothing's paying off. And I've had many moments of experiences that way, but I also have realized through this, I've been able to shift that and realize, oh my goodness, this is all still molding me and preparing me to be able to not only relate, but really emphasize with those that I'm meant to work with, because they too are going to go through this.
Yeah,
Everybody goes through
absolutely.
this. And it's like, it's so important to see it that way and allow that to strengthen you, motivate you that, yeah, right. Okay. You know what? I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, actually. This is all
Mhm.
preparing me for what I'm meant to do. And I'm still learning, because you get that experience when you do a launch for the first time. There's so much to it that you don't even understand until you're in it. And then it's like, even if it doesn't turn out to be anything that comes from it, it's still beautiful to look back and be like, I still did it. I took action. I made it happen. I
Yeah.
put it out there. I put myself out there and I did something. And then the next time you can tweak, you can learn, you can keep, working, like you say, with your business, you had to kind of tweak it here and there to like see what worked with your funnels and what didn't work. And it truly is just all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. And tell me a little bit about your children too. I love talking about the kids, but how has that like been as far as your relationship with them and them seeing their mom, work like you have to build this business?
It's so cute actually, because like from the little one to the oldest one, so I have a 17, 14, and 18-year old. And the little one, I always remember when they would have to do the things in school with, what does your mommy do? And I'm like, mommy is an entrepreneur.
That's not a hard word to spell.
Right. So, but what
Mm.
I think the most beautiful part about this is that when they come off the bus up in here, I have the luxury of being here for them. I have the luxury of, Mom, I forgot this, pick that up.
Yeah, take it.
I
Yeah.
have the luxury of them coming home with all of their emotions from the day
Mm.
and being able to hold that space for them, be present for them in that. And I am forever, forever blessed and grateful that I have the luxury of doing that because of the business that I've built. That
Okay.
is priceless. And then I think from the level of just what they see to normalize. So my husband, a 9 to 5, he has a traditional career, not traditional, but he has a career where, he's not a business owner like myself. So they get to see both. And I think it's a really beautiful balance. What I love about all of my kids is that they have this entrepreneurial spirit as well. So my oldest is very much into like freelance art and things like that. My middle child, she is a girl. She can make money, that girl. She started a cake business, started a makeup business. Now she's doing a nail business. So I love that they see what's possible for them and they see that it doesn't have to be the textbook scenario. And I think we live in a really beautiful time right now where it's like the way you can be successful in multiple ways. There's so many opportunities available to us right now to be successful. You could be sitting in your kitchen and you can be successful. You can turn your camera on and doing your makeup and you can be successful.
That's true.
You can there's so many platforms and, opportunities out there to us if we are able to see it, harness your skills, understand what you're good at, and really package that in a way that because there's a demand for everything out there right now, or you can create the demand,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's the beauty of the times that we're living in right now. While some might look at it as that the markets are oversaturated and there's noise everywhere. Yes, there's truth to that, but I also do believe that people are so selective with where and who they're choosing to invest with now. And so if you really if any of your listeners out there are like, I'm really good at this one thing and I'm wondering how I can monetize that. Now is one of the best times that we're living in that will allow you to monetize.
Like
Yeah.
you couldn't be more right. Exactly. I mean, with the online space alone, there's so many people. Like, I mean, you see all these big YouTubers or influencers out there doing like just advertising for other people and making so much. And I mean, like again, I love that with your children. Like we do our actions, do what we're doing for ourselves. We're impressing on them as well as what's possible for them. I have a 17-year-old son, and he's actually wanting to go to college for business psychology now. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, I love that because he's so interested in understanding the concept because he wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to be a game designer, but he also wants
Yeah.
to learn how to run a successful business.
Correct.
And and I love that because he's just like because of what I've been doing and the action I've been taking. Now my other ones are really young still. Still have 4 and a 6-year-old. So, but it's
Okay.
still cool because they're still seeing mom grow. And I
Yeah.
get to with them, unlike see with my firstborn, I was kind of in that grind of working and him in daycare, and I missed out on so much, which is the reason why I was so passionate when I got into my 30s and had 2 more kids. I was like, I want to be home. And
Yeah.
the Lord opened up that door for me at first with a job that I created to work from home. And then now with me getting to do my own business and grow it over
Yeah.
time. And it's cool to, like you say, to navigate those things, to be real about the challenges too, because, so many people always focus on the end result, which is so great because that's where we're going, that's where we're going to get. But at the same time, we have to not deny ourselves of understanding that this is all part of the process. And this is what they mean when they say, trust the process, that it's
Yeah.
not going to be easy. Nothing worth having is ever gonna be like just handed to you, but it
Right.
feels so good. It's so well earned. But I also like remind people, well, just how great is your life right now that you even there's a reason you feel called for this because yeah, your life may be good and you're grateful, but there's something more calling you, and there's nothing wrong with answering that.
Yes.
That's the thing we don't give ourselves permission to do is to feel like we're allowed to ask for more. That makes us selfish. That means like, oh, we're thinking too much bigger than ourselves, and it's like those are the beliefs that I'm really working to change people from because I just love to see people take risk and do all the things, and if you look around there's so much evidence of it, and it's so cool. I know we tend to compare ourselves. Did you ever run into that as a struggle, is comparing? That's always a thing I see with so many of us moms and women in general, is always
Yeah.
comparing.
Well, I think that really became more of an issue, if you will, when I brought my business online. Because now, like, if you're local, whatever, obviously there's intrusive thoughts. Obviously there's imposter syndrome. But then when you're literally scrolling and you're in groups or you're in communities or wherever, and everybody is like a business owner or another mom. And it's like, wow, she's this and she's that. So of course, those are natural feelings that come up, right? And that's it. I think that's a huge part of that growth phase in business, because I think it's a very human. I mean, even my clients that are at, a million plus in their businesses, they've experienced that. Even masterminds and groups that I've been in where my mentors are at multi-million, like they've experienced that. I think it's part of the process, right? We wouldn't be human if we weren't. But I think there's power in looking at what the feeling triggers in you when you feel that comparison coming up, which is, okay, why is this triggering me? Is it that what is it about that particular individual or that particular post or that particular thing that's making me feel comparison, imposter, whatever? And it could be two things. It could be that one, like there's something underneath it all. There's something in that I have yet to achieve or that I want to achieve, right? More so than a jealousy or an envy. And I think when you can reframe that to, wow, this person has hit X goal and I haven't hit that goal yet, or their, aesthetic looks a certain way, or their whatever. It's typically because it's something within you that you're striving for.
Yeah.
Right. And when you can look at that from a place of non-competition, but more curiosity and inspiration, I think that can serve you so powerfully, because now you're able to look at that and be like, let's just use a post, for example. Wow, that person's post is so aesthetic and they've got X number of views or likes or whatever on it. Why doesn't mine get that way? Right. Like, okay, fine. Study it, understand it.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling threatened by it, study it, understand it, look at it as a point of inspiration. Look at it as like, what can I learn from this? How can I emulate this? Not copy it.
Yeah.
But how can I make
Make
this
it my own?
Yeah. Exactly. And I think too many people get hit with that first immediate emotion of like, shit, she did it about, whatever. And then it's like that shuts down and it doesn't allow your brain to access that part of curiosity.
I love that. And one of my favorite reframes with that I always share with people is that if it's possible for her, then it's possible for me.
Yeah.
And I think if you
absolutely.
alone just always remind yourself that, hey,
Yeah.
that's just evidence that it's possible, which means I
Right.
can get there too. I may not be
Right.
there yet, but that means it is possible for me too. And that's kind of the way I've shifted. And I'm all about supporting other people. And I feel like that's such a powerful movement too that I'm seeing, because you do have a lot of people who has still unfortunately that competitive mindset. But for there's so many people too out there who are actually really willing to support you and love on you, and even if it means liking you to help build your algorithm or commenting on your post, it can be as simple as that. That means the world. But for someone to take the time to do that, that's just kind of the person I am because I love to do that for people when I meet them any way that I can, even if it's just sharing stuff. But I feel like that's another reason why I embrace that for myself, because I feel like that is the energy and the way I want to be seen as far for myself, is that person who supports rather than competes, because I feel like the more we uplift each other, the more the universe, God, is going to bring even more blessings for us, because how you treat others is how, you know what I mean? It's kind of that belief. And so I enjoy, like I said, I think it's awesome because there's so many incredible people out there who just, they just haven't been seen yet, but they have such great things to offer this world. And my goal with this podcast is to try to give people a place to share that, to show up. And over time, I just want us to just keep believing and keep reaching and achieving all that we're meant for. So yeah, I think that's just, I love this and I love these talks. And I'd love to hear too a little bit about, more about your business, and like, well, if somebody was listening and they want to learn more about what does that look like to work with you, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on where you are in your business. I have different tiers of services.
Mhm.
If you're now looking to start out, depending on, where you are on that journey, I do one-on-one work. A lot of my work is one-on-one because I don't believe that any two clients are the same, any two businesses are the same. So one of my core principles and in my business is, personalization. So I do a deep level of personalization and customization in everything that I do, even on my group level programs. Yeah. They're all very small. They're all very intimate simply because of the amount of personalization that goes into the deliverables for our clients. So yeah, like if someone is just starting out, the best way to like kind of figure out what's the best placement for them is, you know, speaking to me, like getting on a call, speaking to me about that. I have clients that are literally just starting out and they're wanting to learn how to launch, how to get their first clients, how to market their business, how to, do all of that, to clients who are already at the $1 million mark and they're scaling, where I come in and I'm more of like a CMO, COO. So I have like different tiers, but again, I customize everything for my clients just based on where they're at. We also, on an agency level, we do like ads and social media marketing and things like that for clients as well. So there is a huge part of what I do is automations, business automations, sales automations, funnels, helping clients to really run profitable ads for their businesses. So there's a place for everyone.
I love that.
Well, just depends on what you need. And I really attribute that a lot to my own experience because I've been on every end of that spectrum. I've been on the spectrum where I've just started to right in that middle piece where I was like, well, how do I just like get over this hump? What do I need to clarify? My messaging, my sales, whatever the case may be, to the point where it's like scaling ads, just like optimizing at that point. And so my sweet spot really are those people in the middle that are just, they're trying to hit their first six or a million. And those are my sweet spot. So that's a predominant group that I work with. Yeah.
Ooh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I really want to thank you so much for everything you shared for this talk today. And I always open the floor to, is there any final piece of advice that you'd like to share with moms today?
I think the biggest thing that I would say to other moms is to get in the room with people who are where you want to be. Get in the room, be willing to like put yourself in those spaces. There's no thought that's too little or too silly. There's no idea that's not like worth pursuing. Get in the room and have conversations. If you're a mom that's like, I want to start a business, start talking to other moms that are already in business. I think there's obviously room for us to hang out with our girlfriends that are like probably in the same place. There's always going to be like that. But you have to be willing to go into circles, expand your circle of influence. If you know that you want to be on a podcast, for instance, to be a podcast hoster, get in the room with other moms that are already hosting podcasts.
Yeah.
If you're running a business and you want to scale it, get into the room with people who have already scaled their businesses. That is what's going to literally get you there faster.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more because that's like they say, who you surround yourself with, you'll eventually become, right? So it's why it's so important to, like you say, there's always that place too for people who are like-minded, who are on that same journey with you, because there's empowerment there of keeping you motivated, keeping that momentum. But you're right, the way you learn from those who have already achieved what you're hoping to achieve, there's nothing like that. So I love to surround myself with that as well, because my goal is to not only be in their energy, but like you say, learn from them. And just, embody everything, embrace everything. And that's the best way you learn. I've learned so much alone from just having these conversations here on this podcast. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. Because I get to do this and it's wonderful. And then I love that I get to share it with my listeners. And I just, again, I really am so grateful for this journey that we're all on. It's amazing what we can accomplish. And I still always feel like I say that we're just getting started. We still got so much to go, right? Well, I want to thank you so much for being here. And of course, if anyone's listening and wants to learn more, make sure to I'll put all your links in the show notes so that you can connect today with you. So again, thank you for your time and for everything. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a blast.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe below, follow along, and always leave a comment. Tell me what was your favorite takeaway. What are some things that are coming up for you through these conversations? I really love to hear from my listeners and know that I'm always here for you. If anyone listening is ready to take action and really follow through and implement the goals that you set out for, as well as work on that mindset and really step into your full potential and the CEO of your life, then I invite you, schedule your free 1-hour limitless mom strategy call with me while they're available. and let's explore where you are, where you want to be, and how we can bridge that gap together. I can't thank you all enough for tuning in each week. Always remember, until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and keep believing in everything that is available for you, Mama. You are worthy, you deserve it, and I'm so grateful to be walking this journey alongside you. Much love.